Thus spoke Zarathustra. I will start with a summary of the first section of the introduction.
When Zarathustra hit 30, he traded his old life for a mountain cave. He spent 10 quiet years there, just him and his thoughts, a perfect sabbatical for the soul. But eventually, things shifted. He felt just like a honeybee that had collected a bit too much honey. He was overflowing with wisdom, and he started to feel that familiar itch of restlessness. He looked up at the sun, the same one that greeted him every morning, and had a real wake-up call. He realized that just as the sun's light would be wasted if there were no one to receive it, wisdom that stays locked up inside becomes more of a burden than a blessing. He realized it was time to share the wealth. He decided to head back down into the world, to help the wise shed their blind spots and to offer a sense of richness to those who feel empty. It's like the sun at dusk. It doesn't just fade away, it boldly sinks into the sea to bring its light to the world below. That's exactly what Zarathustra chooses to do. He calls it his downfall, but it's actually a grand declaration of purpose. He had filled his cup until it was overflowing, and now he's ready to pour it all out. He's heading back down to become human again. It's the end of his quiet solitude, but more importantly, it's the dawn of a brand new beginning.
Today we're going to dive into those tricky passages from the prologue of Thus Spoke Zarathustra that have puzzled so many readers, myself included. Nietzsche's words and the creatures he uses as metaphors are full of deep meaning, but they can be so difficult that many people give up before getting anywhere. Let's break them down together, step by step, and make them truly our own.
When Zarathustra turned 30, he left behind his hometown, his familiar streets, and the lake he knew so well, heading straight for the mountains. There, he spent 10 years in peace, enjoying his solitude and finding comfort in his own spirit.
And when you open the very first page of Nietzsche's masterpiece, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, you're met with a line that truly stirs the soul. It says that at age 30, Zarathustra went up into the mountains and remained unchanged for 10 years. Those 10 years weren't just time passing by, they were a period of intense solitude and deep accumulation, a time spent facing his own soul while leaving behind all the world's noise and ready-made answers. Nietzsche's message is clear. We must quietly gestate until the wisdom and life force within us are overflowing. After all, those who haven't fully filled their own cup can never hope to change the world. Think of Seneca, who, even amidst the bitter loneliness of betrayal and exile, kept writing with an unwavering spirit. His works are filled with the inner wisdom and courage that rise above pain and despair. My fellow travelers here on Earth, I invite you to join me in enjoying the mountain of great solitude that fills us from within.
But at last, his heart began to change. One morning, just as the sun began to rise, he woke up, stepped toward the light, and called out, "You, great star, what would your happiness be if you didn't have anyone to shine your light upon? For 10 years, you've traveled to these mountains to brighten my cave. But if it weren't for me, my eagle, and my serpent, you might have grown weary of your own light and your long journey. But we waited for you every single morning, drank in your overflowing radiance, and gave you our blessing in return."
Become the sun, sharing your life's inner light. Even the most brilliant sun, if left shining all alone, is nothing more than empty loneliness and boredom. The reason the sun is truly great is that it pours its light out generously, bringing life to the world below. This is the core of it all. Zarathustra now decides to descend from the mountain, declaring that he will become a human sun and share the honey of wisdom he has gathered over the last 10 years. Nietzsche's message is clear. True creation and happiness are only complete when we give, overflow, and share. Just as Van Gogh, despite a lifetime of profound loneliness, poured his inner fire onto his canvases to paint the world in vibrant color. A true Übermensch, Overman, is one who lets their inner life force overflow and reach others, regardless of whether they ask for it or not. Many of us have spent our whole lives building our families, often without a moment to look inward. When we retire, we can feel a deep sense of loss. Sometimes we become like the camel in Nietzsche's metaphor, begging for recognition and reward from the world, or our children saying, "Look at all I've done." But those who have truly faced Nietzsche's sun are different. They don't beg for rewards. They take the life wisdom, know-how, and values they've accumulated over decades and pour them into the world through YouTube, writing, or their daily lives, freely and abundantly. A life that begs to be filled stays trapped in darkness, but a life that overflows and gives becomes a sun itself. Let's boldly share the rich honey of our lives. Just as the sun shines brightly upon the earth, it is time for our second act to overflow. Clearly, powerfully, and beautifully. Think you have nothing to give? No, no, no. Someone once said, even if you think your life has been a failure, your very existence is a one-of-a-kind treasure. That failure you talk about, your thoughts on it, and the way you live your life today are already a treasure. That hit me like a bolt of lightning. My life, which I defined as a failure, was actually my own source of light. And it takes just one decision and one action to show that treasure to the world. Isn't it true that nothing in this world is without value? So let's be confident that we are all little suns, and let's share our own light. That, according to Nietzsche, is what it means to be an Übermensch.
Look, Like a honeybee that has gathered far too much nectar, I have grown weary of my own wisdom. Now I need people to reach out to, someone to share this wisdom with. I want to give until the wise can finally enjoy their own foolishness, and the poor can finally rejoice in their own richness. To do this, I must descend to the world below.
Why, of all people, does Nietzsche have Zarathustra declare, "I have grown weary of my own wisdom," just as he descends the mountain? This doesn't mean he's bored with knowledge. It's an expression of an overwhelming sense of fullness, a point where you've been holding on to your own honey for so long that you simply can't stand not sharing it anymore. The sharing Nietzsche talks about isn't some moral duty to help the poor. It's the inevitable outpouring of life force. After 10 years of solitary accumulation, the honey within you is so bursting at the seams that you have to let it out, if only for your own sake. Nietzsche had no patience for the hypocritical kind of charity where you begrudgingly give away what you'd rather keep. When true wisdom is sprinkled into the world, an amazing reversal happens. Those wise folks who were obsessed with the world's correct answers find the joyful freedom of letting go of their rigid ideas. Those who felt poor or downtrodden suddenly discover a great power within their souls and find their own inner abundance. Everyone breaks out of their old shells to become the true creative masters of their own lives. Does it sound funny that I think we're all sitting on our own unique, overflowing jars of honey, yet we're letting it rot because it doesn't look like the honey the world told us to collect? Look inside again at that treasure you're holding on to. You're letting something truly precious go to waste.
Just as you sink into the sea every evening to light up the world below, oh, you overflowing bountiful star. As the people down there, where I am heading, would call it, I too must go under, decline, just like you.
When you read Nietzsche, you'll come across the word decline, or Untergang, which can feel a bit intimidating or strange. We often associate it with falling or failure, but the original German word actually points to the beautiful sunset, the way the sun gracefully sinks below the horizon. It isn't a fall. It is a magnificent journey down the mountain, a choice to lower oneself for the sake of a new beginning and the joy of sharing. In Nietzsche's philosophy, this decline is always a partner to rising. Just as the sun must set for a new morning to break, you must break your old self and head downward to face the world. This is where the soul truly evolves. Think of it this way. The sun sinks into the sea to cool the earth, and in that cool, quiet darkness, the earth finds the strength to nurture new life. Nietzsche is telling us that choosing to descend, to decline, is the very source of the abundance that breathes life into the world.
So give me your blessing. Oh, you quiet, steady gaze that can look upon overflowing joy without a hint of envy. Now bless this cup. Look at how the golden water, ready to pour your radiant joy out into the whole world, is brimming over. Behold, this cup longs to be emptied once again.
Just before Zarathustra descends into the human world, after 10 years of solitude, he casts a final declaration toward the sky. This cup wants to be emptied again. Here, the cup represents his own soul, brimming with great values and the honey of wisdom. That he wants it to be emptied to the point of overflowing signifies a powerful resolve. He will not hold on to his wisdom for himself, but will pour it out generously for the world. The quiet gaze that watches this is the perspective of absolute positivity, the ability to look upon another's abundance not with envy, but with warm support. Nietzsche's true intent is clear. A truly mature person is not one who grabs and fills, but one who generously pours out. You can only fill your cup with new life force once you've poured your golden water down to the very last drop and left yourself empty. This is the natural cycle of the universe. So many of us have spent our entire lives trying to fill our cups, growing our bank accounts and expanding our homes. But if we can't learn to empty that cup of possessions even after retirement, we risk spending our later years in the loneliness of comparison and envy. A true master is different. We must now think about a life of freely emptying our cup of greed. Let's make that our choice today, to take the wisdom and know-how we've gathered over a lifetime and pour it all out unconditionally into our communities, through our writing, and on platforms like YouTube.
And now we reach the final sentence of the first section.
And so Zarathustra began to yearn to be human once again. Thus, Zarathustra's descent began.
The first section of Nietzsche's prologue ends with this striking line. Zarathustra yearns to be human again. But since he is already human, why would he declare this? It's a powerful, self-directed choice. He is stepping down from his pedestal as a solitary saint in his mountain cave and fully diving back into the muddy, turbulent waters of real life, where joy, sorrow, and pain swirl together. This is Nietzsche's way of saying, with deep love, stop chasing lofty fantasies and stop running from reality. Instead, live every moment fully, creating your life right here on the earth where your feet are planted. Think about it. Our talents, efforts, our hard work, and everything we own were only possible because of the society around us. This is why we must approach the world with the spirit of descent, humbly lowering ourselves to reach others. Just like the Buddha, who refused to remain a distant god after his enlightenment and instead walked among people, sharing in the pain of aging, sickness, and death, even meeting his end on the road among them. A saint in a mountain cave cannot change the world, but a human being who walks into the muddy world can make the earth dance. The true Übermensch, Overman, is born right in the center of the most human life imaginable. My fellow travelers, it's time for us to head back into the world and become passionately human once more.
I'd like to wrap up the first section of the prologue with a column. The title is Empty Your Overflowing Cup, Begin Your Great Descent.
We, the fellow travelers of this earth, have lived the first half of our lives with fire in our hearts. Many of us have reached the mountain of retirement, each carrying a deep, solid cave of wisdom built over decades. In the prologue of Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, we are called to a powerful truth. Do not let the golden wisdom you've gathered in your solitude rot away in the dark. Instead, pour it out fearlessly back into the muddy, turbulent waters of the human world. It is time to empty the cup of high-minded solitude and begin our great descent. 1. Trust the inner strength forged in your own cave. During the 1930s, Winston Churchill was pushed out of politics and spent a decade forgotten in the countryside. While the world mocked him as a faded politician, Churchill spent those 10 years in his own cave, laying bricks, writing and peering into his soul with the precision of a microscope. He shut out the noise of the world and forged a mental resilience that would eventually save humanity during the darkness of World War II. Our retirement is not a time to feel left behind. It is a sacred season to fill our inner selves with the pride of an eagle and the wisdom of a serpent, building the strongest mental muscles of our lives.
2. Like a honeybee, give your wisdom away until it overflows. Abbé Pierre, the real-life inspiration behind Les Miserables, spent years in solitude accumulating spiritual depth, but he didn't settle for the comfort of the monastery. Like a honeybee overflowing with nectar, he couldn't bear to keep his love to himself. He went into the streets, working in the mud with the homeless and the broken. He tore off the saint's badge of his high position and became a honeybee who poured everything into those in despair. Nietzsche's call is the same. Don't become the type of person who clings to your past titles, like doctor or executive, and hoards your wisdom. When you start giving away your life's know-how unconditionally, that is when your true life force begins to pulse. 3. Tear off the badge of the solitary saint and descend to become truly human. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor of Rome, wrote his meditations in the grit and grime of military tents. He could have stayed on the throne, lost in abstract philosophy. Instead, he spent his nights emptying his ego and his days walking into the blood, dust, and sickness of the front lines to suffer alongside his people. He chose to descend daily. Our second act requires the same courage. Tear up the fake badges of past status and vanity. Stop hiding in the comfort of being a respectable elder. Become a human being with hot, flowing blood and walk proudly into the bustling, messy reality of the world. Fellow travelers, the comfort of the 10-year cave is over. Our cups are brimming with golden wisdom that can shatter stereotypes and bring life to others. Let's reject the cowardice of aging as a lonely saint. Just as the sun sinks below the horizon to bless the earth, let us shed our past privileges and begin our great descent toward the beautiful, vibrant sea of humanity.
So, what did you think of the first section? It wasn't as daunting as you might have expected, right? Once we peeled back the layers and looked at the true meaning of the metaphors, I'm sure you felt the text change before your eyes. You know that feeling when you finally wipe the dust off a window and the view outside suddenly becomes crisp and clear. That's exactly what we've done. Nietzsche's mountain, it turns out, is quite climbable, isn't it? Now, we're going to read the main text of section 1, which I've paraphrased to be as accessible as possible. I've spent quite some time wrestling with various AI tools to make sure the expressions are as natural and familiar as possible for all of us. Just sit back, listen, and we'll wrap things up by reading it through one last time at the very end. The journey only gets more fascinating as we head into section 2. You have every reason to be excited. I look forward to seeing you all there. Please leave a line in the comments sharing how you feel today. Your words are the greatest fuel that keeps us going on this long, rewarding climb, my fellow travelers. See you later.
When Zarathustra turned 30, he decided he'd had enough of the constant noise and the opinions of others in his hometown. So he packed up and headed straight for the mountains. He cut himself off from the world and spent the next 10 years in quiet solitude, getting to know his own soul. It was a long time, long enough for the world to pretty much forget he existed, but he didn't mind. He stayed right there, working day after day to build the kind of inner strength you can't get anywhere else. Then one morning, everything changed. Just as the sun began to peek over the horizon, Zarathustra stood up, walked right toward it, and let out a roar. "Oh, Oh, you great golden sun! What would your light even mean if there were no earth and no people here to enjoy it? You have come to visit my dark cave every single morning for 10 years. If I hadn't been here to soak up your warmth with the pride of an eagle and the wisdom of a serpent, you would have gotten pretty bored with that daily routine, wouldn't you? We waited for you every morning, drinking in that golden energy and thanking you for every drop.
But look at me now. I'm so full of wisdom, I'm about to burst. I feel like a honeybee that's worked way too hard and now has way too much honey in the hive. I simply can't keep it all to myself anymore. I need to share it. I want to take all those smart people who are stuck in their rigid ways and show them the joy of letting go. I want to take the people who feel poor and downtrodden and show them how rich their souls actually are. I'm going to keep on giving until everyone is dancing with the joy of it. To do that, I've got to head down into the messy, muddy world where real people live and breathe. Just like you, my bountiful sun sinking into the sea every evening to light up the world below, I too must decline. I'm going to leave my high and mighty mountain life behind and start my own great descent into the heart of humanity. So give me your blessing. I need the kind of quiet, steady gaze that can look at someone else's happiness without a shred of jealousy. Now, bless this cup of my soul, brimming over with golden wisdom, just waiting to be poured out over the whole world. Look at it. This cup is literally begging to be emptied so it can breathe life into others. And with that, Zarathustra ripped off his saint's badge for good and started his walk down the mountain, determined to become a real, hot-blooded human being once again.
구독과 좋아요로 응원해주세요. 안녕.
구독과 좋아요로 응원해주세요.